What your company needs to know about misinformation and disinformation. Hey guys, JR Fisher here. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down there, turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell, turn all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live. The one thing you want to remember, as your brand grows, as you develop more and more business, as you get more and more sales, you become a target. Your company becomes a target for people to attack with misinformation and disinformation. And if you don't get the information that's in this video, that could harm your company. Imagine you built up a brand to where you're making millions of dollars a year and somebody spreads a false rumor about your company and it takes your company down. What will you do? Well, there's a lot of things you can do, and if you watch this video to the very end, you're going to understand what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and how to do it. So if you're selling online, you don't want to miss any of this, because this is really important stuff to your business and it could harm your business, especially in today's social media market. It's tough out there, guys. It is brutal what people will say and do nowadays, and you've got to know how to protect yourself. This video will help you with that. Does bologna have worms in it? Bologna. Have you eaten bologna? Earthworms, bologna? Now, for those of you who don't watch this video to the very end, I will tell you there's an ingredient in bologna that I was told was earthworms, but so that I don't get in any trouble, there are no earthworms in bologna. However, I remember being in school, and my school lunchroom was very crowded and the food really wasn't that good, so quite often I would bring bologna sandwiches. I love bologna sandwiches, just bologna, mustard, and white bread. Yes, healthy, I know, but that's how we grew up in the 60s and 70s. Okay, we ate a lot of bologna sandwiches, and I remember this one kid coming up to me one day and he saw me eat my bologna sandwich and he says, did you know that there's earthworms in your sandwich? And I was like, earthworms? Now, I didn't particularly like this kid. Okay, he wasn't one of my best friends and he didn't seem like a real trustworthy source, but it did make me think about it. What was in bologna? So I did my research, and there was an ingredient called erythrate, I think it was called. I'll put the correct spelling on the screen here, and basically it's a type of preservative, and he looked at that and thought that was something from the earth, which meant earthworms. Okay, and that was my first experience with disinformation, somebody who's making up something that's totally not true, and this happens in business all the time. Now obviously, if a piece of information gets out, especially if it's a food product or a product that could damage you or hurt you, and it's bad information, it can really hurt that product's brand. So this is something that no matter what you sell, whether it's a course, whether it's food, whether it's tools, I don't care, clothing, no matter what you sell, you need to know about misinformation and disinformation. By the end of this video, you're going to know better how to protect your company so that your brand doesn't get tarnished. Now, to this day, there are articles and there's videos about earthworms in meats and sausages, and Slim Jim really got hit hard. Slim Jim, people were believing it, and it got passed around, and it's just not true. So what is the information that we're getting that's not true? First off, is it misinformation or is it disinformation? And by the way, what is the difference in those two? Now, misinformation is generally something that somebody hears and they pass on to somebody else, and they're not really trying to harm your brand. Not that it doesn't, but it's something that they're doing without malice. Now, disinformation could come from one of your competitors, somebody who actually wants to hurt your brand, somebody who wants to say something bad about your company. That's a whole nother story, and that's what you got to protect yourself against. Now, a study that was put out as recently as September 2021 found that more and more companies are using disinformation to discredit their competitors and to get themselves more business. That's a terrible way to go about stuff, right? To tear somebody else down. I mean, I've always heard the saying, there's two ways to have the tallest building in town. The first way is to build the tallest building in town, and the second way is to tear down everybody else's building, and that's what some businesses try to do. So how do you protect yourself? Now, most of these things are always started on social media nowadays. Why? Because everybody goes to social media. They go to Facebook, they go to Twitter, they go to Instagram, and they get spread like wildfire. They really do. So if you're one of those business brands and you're really not on social media, you need to get there, because your product, as it becomes more and more popular, will enter the realm of social media. People will talk about it, they'll say things about it, they'll say it's good or bad or whatever, and if you're not out there actively listening to what's going on, then of course your brand could get hurt. Now the first thing you want to do is look at the type of misinformation or disinformation that's out there. If it's misinformation, sometimes you just need to address it. You need to say, hey, you know, this was spread about our company, it's totally not true, these are the ingredients, or you know, they said that somebody got sick off this food and they didn't. You know, that's just not true. And you need to actually get out there and be proactive and talk to your audience, let them know that you heard the same thing. And you can also have a link on your website where, you know, it talks about that particular problem. You know, maybe it was you know, you're using red food dye in your chocolate or whatever, I don't know, something along those lines, and make sure you address that. That could be in your frequently asked questions, that could be an article or a blog, or it could be a video that you actually put on your site, because people are going to come to your site and say, I wonder if this is true, and they're going to type in that information in the search bar, and if you have an article on it that dispels that, then that's going to be very helpful. But that is for people who are spreading misinformation. Somebody who had no malice intent or anything like that, they were just saying bad things about your company. The second thing you need to look at is it your competitor? Now if it's your competitor, it's a whole different thing. You can actually send them an email and say, hey, you're saying these bad things about our company, they aren't true. We want you to stop doing that. Now the best way to do that is to hire a lawyer and have a lawyer send them a letter of cease and desist. That's the best thing to do. And you can also let them know that you will proceed with legal action if this continues to happen. You know, I hate to go that route, and I've had people try to tear down our company over the years, and it's generally some fly-by-night company, and they're trying to get our business. They felt like, you know, we took part of their market share or whatever it is, and I always feel like there's enough market share for everybody. I think when you talk bad about your competitors, it actually makes you look bad, and it also brings up your competitor. You know, if I were to talk about another company that sells survival food, they may say, hey, I've never even heard of that survival food, maybe I'll go check it out. So you could actually lose sales by doing that, and plus just being negative just doesn't work. Okay, so the third thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Okay, if you feel like it's silly and it doesn't warrant, you know, you really spending any time on it, that's certainly an alternative you could have. Oftentimes when things are ignored, especially if they're crazy weird things, you know, it doesn't really pose a problem. Now if it gains traction and you see more and more of it on social media, if you see more and more of it as far as your customers calling you and asking you about it, then you're going to have to probably address it. But what I've found is these crazy things usually die out after time. However, with that being said, some of them can take down an entire business. We've seen it happen. I don't know where AIDS diet candy is. That was very popular. I think it was in the 70s maybe, but AIDS diet candy was very popular. Now that was maybe not misinformation or disinformation, but it certainly did take down that candy company. And I remember when there was the anthrax threat in Washington DC, and there was a band called Anthrax. That did not do them any good, but maybe, you know, they had a hardcore audience, so maybe it actually brought them some more listeners. I don't know what the statistics were on that. It's important that you know about misinformation. It's important that you know about disinformation, because in today's social media, it's just going to be part of your life. You're going to have to be in there, you're going to have to be involved, you're going to have to look and see what's going on, and sometimes you're going to have to react. It's a pain in the butt, I know it, I hate it, it's just the way it is. Some people just try to play dirty, and some people are just ignorant. That's also a possibility too, but you have to know about it. I hope this video helps you. I hope it let you know the difference between misinformation, disinformation, and how it can spread, and what you should do about it and what you should not do about it. I really appreciate you watching this video, and do me a favor, give me a thumbs up if you like this content. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, turn it from red to gray. Don't forget, ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live. I really appreciate you watching this video. I'd like to hear your comments too. Put your comments below in the comments section. If you have a question about this, maybe your company ran into this, maybe you had a problem like this, explain to me what that problem was, what happened. Maybe you have another question about making money online. It's unrelated to this video. You can certainly do that, because on this channel all I talk about is starting, running, and growing online businesses. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.